The most successful social movements in our country are ones where the culture and the advocacy become kind of morphed. They become one. I always think about March for Our Lives. I remember I was one of the people who helped put together the one in Orlando. I'm walking around and I run into friends from like elementary school that I know have no interest in politics. And I ask them, why are you here? And get different answers, right? My friends were here. I felt like I needed to be here. I don't really know. I just wanted to be here. Ariana Grande told me to be here, different things. And the things all those answers had in common was it all has to do with culture. When you bridge that gap between, cool and consciousness. And we saw that at March for Our Lives. In fact, when people have a hard time explaining why they came to something, that's usually a good indication that it's just part of the culture. We see that a lot of these podcasters, YouTubers, folks with big followings have gone a little bit more and more to the right. And I think that's a part of it. But there's also a lot of other places we need to be communicating as well. And a lot of times it's going to these places that are not political. Maybe it's a sports space or music, and just being human and talking about our interests in that subject, but then inserting the politics little by little. It's actually something we saw Trump do a lot of during this last campaign cycle. And I think that's a big part of it as well. In foreign countries, the minority is not called the minority, they're called the opposition. But part of it is kind of a state of mind and a way of thinking about how we come at things. I mean, the word and name minority already seems defeatist on our first step, right? We're in the minority. We're not in the minority. The things we want are actually in the majority. Most people in this country don't want to see Medicaid cut. 73% of Trump supporters don't want Medicaid cut. I think the opposition is a better way to frame it and think about it. Because number one, we need to and will continue to actively oppose this extreme agenda that's meant to cut programs people care about and save money in the federal government on things that help people to give tax cuts to billionaires and rich people. And that's what Project 2025 and what all of this is about. Not just labeling ourselves as the opposition, but acting like the opposition is important. And using every kind of parliamentary delay and obstruction that we can to push away on this agenda, I think is really important. And that's being oppositional to an agenda. A lot of people have asked me where I'm at in terms of age limits in Congress. My position isn't that all old people should leave government and it should just be young people. I think we need a representative government, which includes people of all ages. I think about someone like my mom, but my mom just retired as a teacher, 37 years teaching public education. I think someone like my mom would be a great representative. She has the experience of becoming a senior, growing old now. That's a helpful experience to have in Congress as we talk about a lot of issues having to do with seniors. I also think we need young people in office as well. And the problem is it skews way older than it does younger. I mean, a third of this country is Gen Z and millennials. We're nowhere near a third of government. I don't think it's a lack of will or a lack of smarts or a lack of people who want to get into public service, but there are like institutional barriers that keep us from it. Big money in politics. If you want to run for office, you should be able to still pay your rent. And if you have kids, you should still be able to feed your kids. By all the numbers, people in Florida support democratic, progressive, left policies. But when they go to the ballot box, they vote for candidates who do not believe in those things at all. And that's this difference between politics and policy we've seen in Florida. Florida is a very good case study in the politics of vibes that the Republican Party has set there. The Andrew Gillum loss was very difficult for Democrats across the state. After that, a lot of the funding left the state of Florida. I mean, it fell drastically between 2018 and then 2020, 2022, and then 2024. That slippage from a lot of the Cuban Americans in South Florida and these demographic changes we've seen from people moving from different places in the country to Florida to be in the state for political reasons, all this, I think, has been a huge disadvantage to Florida Democrats. The position of a lot of Democrats that were running statewide was very much reactionary to whatever Republicans would say.
The radical left will destroy America if we don't stop them.
It doesn't matter if you were like a progressive or a moderate. You were a communist, socialist, defund the police person. They would list you with everything that you can think of, no matter what you actually were or what you actually believed.
She's fanatical.
We spent most of our time and most of our money saying, no, I'm not. I don't think no, I'm not's a winning message.